Hello everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the session today. Hope you all can hear me. Can you guys confirm once?
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, great. Thanks for confirming, guys. So let us start the session. So if you guys remember, yesterday we have completed our first demo, right? We have successfully completed our first demo where I have told you about the course curriculum. So what and all the topics that we are covering in the entire session, I have told you yesterday. For those people who have missed the session, please connect with an admin and get the recording video. Okay, so let me gonna just go through the course curriculum. So this is our course curriculum, guys, and here we have a first we are covering the Google Cloud Basics, introduction, interfaces, locations, Linux, and Python for data engineers. And then we are entering into the GCP data engineering tools. We are starting with cloud storage, then Cloud SQL, and BigQuery, and Dataproc, Databricks, Dataflow, Cloud PubSub, Cloud Composer, Data Fusion, Cloud Functions, Terraform. So all of these topics we are covering. So in this one, we are also covering the Linux. We have seen PySpark. We are covering the Python. We are covering the Apache Beam. All of these concepts we are covering, guys. This course is going to be taking 2.5 months, and the role is for the GCP data engineer. Okay, so I'm the trainer for this one, guys. So today, what is our first topic? As per this one, if you can see, we need to see the, okay, here also we can see it, guys. So the cloud basics we are going to start with. In this one, we are going to start with the cloud overview. Why we need the cloud platform? What is the reason that why the companies are moving towards the cloud platform? Because the way that they are working in a traditional working model, what are the challenges that they are facing? And what are those challenges and how the cloud is fixing those challenges? Let us try to understand one by one, right? And after that, we will see the Google Cloud Platform, the introduction, learning, opportunities, and certifications. And then we will enter into the other topics such as interfaces, console walkthrough, GCP locations, and IM and admin. So all of these topics we are going to see in our upcoming sessions. Today, I'm going to start with this one, and we will see the introduction of the GCP. Okay. To start with, why we need the cloud platform, you might have known, guys. So for example, before the cloud, that means if you go 10 years before, 15 years before, 20 years before, okay, so if you go at decade before, people were working in the traditional working model. People are working in the traditional working model. Let us try to understand how the traditional working model looks like. Okay, to understand that, I am going to tell you with an example. So an example is that assume that there is one organization is there. That organization wanted to create a new application, create a new application for their end users. Okay, they wanted to create or roll out a new application for the end users. So if they wanted to create a new application for the end users, what actually happens in the company? Let us try to understand. Okay, what actually happens in the company? Let us try to understand one by one. So if a company wanted to roll out a new application, okay, if a company wanted to roll out a new application, the business comes up with a requirement for the application. Okay, the business. So why the application is needed? What is the requirement for the application? The business comes up with a requirement for the application, and then the business analyst will be there. He will gather all the needs from the business and analyzes it and converts that into a set of high level technical requirements, and then he passes that information to the solution architect. So the business comes up with a requirement for the application. Then the business analyst will analyze or gather all the needs from the business. He gather all the needs from the business, and then he passes that information, that technical information, to the solution architect. Okay, he passes that entire technical information to the solution architect. Now the solution architect will design an architecture to be followed for the deployment of the application. What the solution architect will do? A solution architect is the one, he creates an entire solution and an architectural diagram to be followed for the application deployment, the deployment of this application. This may involve the infrastructure, or it could be the number of servers, or the load balancers, the front end database and the back end database, or the servers, or any other thing. So he will eventually mention in the architectural diagram. In an architectural diagram, he will keep everything from the source, from the starting point to the end of the application. The output should be here, the output should be the application should be running, so that the users can connect it to this application. Okay, the output should be application. So in this one, so they may be using some set of servers, server 1, server 2, server 3, or they are connecting together, they are taking care of the load balancing, they are deploying the application, or they are deploying the libraries. Now all of those things, finally the application gets created. So what the solution architect will do? The solution architect will create an architectural diagram. So this is what is an architecture diagram. So the entire architecture diagram to be followed for the deployment of the application. Okay, so it involves all the number of servers required for the application, and the front-end web server, back-end web servers, and the load balancers, databases, specification types, many things. And also, we will also mention what kind of a programming language, because if I wanted to deploy one application, I need two things. One is, if I wanted to deploy one application, right? So if I wanted to create one application, I need two things, guys. One is code, one more is infrastructure. So the entire infrastructure is mentioned, how much infrastructure is required, that is mentioned by the solution architect. The code has to be developed by the developers. Code has to be developed by the developers. So infrastructure is mentioned. That means what amount of infrastructure is required. Infrastructure is nothing but a computational resources to run your code. Okay, computational resources to run your code. So that amount of resources required will be mentioned in the architecture diagram. Okay, so this is how the solution architect will create the architecture diagram for the code deployment. Okay, so whatever the infrastructure that is mentioned in the architecture diagram has to be available in the company. Yes or no? Whatever the infrastructure that is mentioned by the architecture diagram, right, it has to be available in the company only. Can you guys tell me, in the traditional working model, where this infrastructure has to be available? Because we do not have the cloud platforms now, just tell me, who has to maintain this infrastructure, who has to create this infrastructure, who has to monitor this infrastructure? Can you guys guess it? Who has to create it? Don't worry about monitoring it, don't worry about creating, don't worry about maintaining it. So how this infrastructure will be available to these developers or these solution architect? Where this infrastructure has to be created? Who has to create it? Who has to take care of it? See, correct. Correct. That's the right answer. The last person has given the answer, that the organization has to build the entire infrastructure for the project team members. What the project team members will do? They make use of this infrastructure for the building an application. Okay, so the entire organization has to, for example, if I say a company, the company has an entire infrastructure center that is usually called as a data center. So because you do not have a cloud platform, we are not working in the cloud platform 10 years before, 15 years before, we do not have any cloud platform. So that's where the companies are maintaining their own data center. The companies are maintaining their entire data center. So whatever the infrastructure is that is required for their own application purpose, so they wanted to create some application. That application, they need the infrastructure and they need to develop the code. So that entire infrastructure has to be available in the organization's data center. That entire infrastructure has to be available in the organization data center. Okay, so then only the code has to be developed or deployed on top of this data center, right? So that is so. But what happens if the infrastructure is not available in the data center? What happens if the entire infrastructure is not available in the data center? What will happen, guys? Who has to take care of it again? Correct. So again, so if the whatever the infrastructure that is required for the application deployment, because they are creating an application, for that application they need some amount of infrastructure, such as this many number of servers, or this many number of databases, or this many number of load balancers, or this many number of networking components. So they need this many set of components, so that on top of this one they are going to do the deployment. But if those infrastructure, those number of servers are not available in the data center, so that's where the solution architect will create a request to the procurement team. Okay, so a procurement team will be connecting with the vendors team. So solution architect saying that, oh, we need this much of amount of infrastructure. I see that it is not available in the data center. Can you raise a request to the vendors team? That's what he will raise a ticket to the procurement team. Now the procurement team connects to the vendors team. Now the vendors team will purchase the entire hardware. It will purchase the entire hardware, and they're gonna deliver it to the data center. They're gonna be delivering it to the data center. So this is what happens, guys. So if whenever there is a request from the solution architect, the procurement team connect with the vendors team. Now the vendors team will purchase the entire hardware, and they're going to be delivering it to the data center. This process may takes a lot of time. This process may takes lot of days or weeks. Sometimes it could go months also for the entire hardware to be purchased and deliver it to the data center. Entire hardware to be purchased and deliver it to the data center, it could take days, weeks, and months also. Once the infrastructure or once the hardware received at the data center, that's where the infrastructure team come into the pictures, and the field engineers will take care of the rack and stack. So you might have seen the rack and stack just now, I might have shown you. So once the hardware received at the data center, so that entire hardware is going to be converted into this rack and stack. Who will be doing this one? So again, the field engineers will be there. They are going to convert this entire they are going to create this entire hardware into the rack and stack in a proper organized format. Okay, so that's what the field engineers will do. Once the field engineers completed, that's where the system admins and network admins comes into the picture. The system admins will take care of the initial configuration of the system. The system admins will take care of the initial configuration of the system, as well as the network admins will take care of the network configuration, so that all of these systems are available over the network. Okay, so the system admins will perform the initial configuration of the system, and the network admins make sure all of these systems are available over the network. And after that, the storage admins comes into the picture. They assign the storage to these servers or machines, and then the backup admins will assign the backup or configure the backups. Once the entire things are set up as per the architecture diagram, as per the standards that they have mentioned in the architecture diagram, so all the servers, databases, load balancers are set up as per the standards in the solution architectural diagram. So that's where the application team comes into the picture, because the application team, they developed the code. Okay, So that entire infrastructure is ready as per the standards that is given to the application team. Now the application team have developed the code. That code is going to be deployed on top of this infrastructure so that your application is running. So your application is running in the data center properly. So that's where your application goes live, so that plenty of people started using your application. So this is what is in an the traditional working model, guys. So if you follow a traditional working model, these many people are involved to create an application. Look at here. So whenever there is a requirement for the application, the business comes up with an requirement, and whatever the requirements are there, the business analyst will gather all the needs from the business, and he passes that technical information to the solution architect. Now the solution architect will create an architecture diagram to be followed for the deployment of the application, which may involve the what programming language we have to use and how to deploy it, and what are the servers, how many servers we have to use. The entire hardware or infrastructure level things are mentioned in the architecture diagram. If that entire infrastructure is already available in the data center, the application team directly go and deploy it on top of that infrastructure. But if the data center, most of the times that infrastructure may not be available directly on the data center, so that's where the application team connects with the procurement team connects with the vendors team will go and purchase the hardware, and then it will be delivered to the data center. Once it is delivered at the data center, the field engineers will come into the picture. They create the rack and stack, then the system admins and network admins, then the storage admins, then the backup admins, and then the application team will deploy it, so that deploy their code on top of this infrastructure, and that's where your application is running in the data center. So this is how the entire process, guys. So you started with a requirement and you ended with an application. So this is how a traditional working model works. Can you guys tell me what are the challenges that you are seeing in the traditional model by looking at this particular thing? By looking at particular thing, by looking at this particular architectural diagram or a traditional working model, can you guys tell me what are the challenges that you are guys are seeing? What are the challenges that you guys are seeing?
Time and cost.
Correct, correct. So correct. So I got four answer. All the four answers are correct. So one saying the time, sir, time is taking. One saying the purchasing the hardware is again on top of us only, sir. That is also one more thing. Sir, many teams are working. Someone saying, so that is also correct. And someone saying scaling up is difficult, sir. That is also correct. So these are all the challenges. Let me gonna put it in a proper order so that you guys can understand it easily for all other people. So because it is a slow deployment model, because we have seen that, so the turnover time varies from weeks to months for the everything to be ready for the application deployment. See here, if I wanted to create a one more application, see, I need to purchase the entire hardware, which may takes days, weeks, and sometime even months also for the application deployment, to ready for the application deployment. So that is the reason I would say that it is a slow deployment model. I usually call it as a slow deployment model because the turnover time is varying from days to weeks to months. Okay, so that's the reason I call it as a slow deployment model. That is one thing. And the next thing is that it is expensive. It is expensive. Why it is expensive? One of the guy has told us the price is very high. It's because that you look at here. So your company has to maintain the data center. To maintain the data center, 24 by 7 electricity, 24 by 7 cooling supply, 24 by 7 security personnel, 24 by 7 monitoring the activity. So entire thing, a lot amount of money has to be spent on the data center, and we have to have this many people working behind the scene, and they need their own things, and we need to recruit the procurement team, vendors team, and this many teams working behind the scene. So the overall cost to deploy and maintain this working model is very high. The overall cost to deploy and maintain this working model is very high. So that is the reason I call it as a expensive model. Do you guys agree with me or not? Yes, right. So the overall cost to maintain and deploy this working model is very high. It is because many things we are taking care of it. Okay, and data center also we have taken care of. That's the reason I call it as an expensive working model comparatively. And the next thing is that with so many teams, okay, working on different activities, some of the activities can be automated, but most of the activities cannot be automated at all. Look at here. The work that the field engineers are doing cannot be automated. The rack and stack cannot be automated, right? So similarly, procurement team, vendors team, hardware purchasing and delivering, these things cannot be automated. Some of the aspects can be easily automated, but most of the steps, such as rack and stack cabling or other deployment procedures or procurement activities or vendors activities cannot be automated at all. They have to be manual. When it is manual, it will be slow. It will be slow. So that's the reason we usually call it as the traditional working model is limited automation, and it is slow also, slow working model. Limited automation also I'm calling, because some aspects can be automated, but most of the aspects cannot be automated at all. So this is called as a limited automation. So that is one more thing. And the final thing is that human error. With so many teams working on so many different tasks, the chances of the human error is very high, which leads to the inconsistency in the environment, isn't it? So you already, we might have known it. If I, for a simple task, if many teams are working behind the scene, the chances of the human error is very high, which may result in the inconsistency in the environment, isn't it? So we have a human error, we have an inconsistency in the environment also. Do you guys agree with me or not? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah. And the final point, which is very major disadvantage, is the underutilization of the compute resources. Major disadvantage is that wasting the resources. Underutilization of the compute resources. Whatever amount of resources that we are buying, the computational resources, we may not be using it 100%. We may not be using it 90% also. So that's the reason it comes into the wasting of the resources, wasted resources. Okay, it is also called as a underutilization of the compute resources. This is one of the major disadvantage, because these resources are very costly, but you are not using it fully. So that's the reason it is called as underutilization, leads to the wasting the resources. Okay, so you have a slow deployment model, and it is an expensive and limited automation. Human error is there, inconsistency in the environment, and wasted resources are also there. Due to these many disadvantages, due to these many disadvantages over the past decades, organizations are looking towards a one more environment or one more working culture. They are looking for an alternative working culture, guys. So because people are facing, the companies are facing these many challenges, so that's the reason they are looking for a alternative solution. That's where the cloud providers came into the picture. That's where the cloud providers came into the picture, guys. So what they try to do is that they provide you the cloud computing services. What the cloud provider do? They provide you the cloud computing services. How much amount of a resource you need, you can directly create it. You don't need to worry about procurement team, vendor team, field engineers, backup team, admins team. This many teams are not required, and this data center, this many teams and this data center maintenance also not required for you. That, so this is not at all there. So this is not there, this is not there, this is not there, this is not there. No maintenance of the data center. So the moment the cloud providers came into the picture, they say that we provide you the cloud computing services to you. In return, you do the pay as you go model. So how much amount of resources you are using, you pay for us. So what the company started doing is that they started recruiting the infrastructure engineers or DevOps engineers, infrastructure engineer, DevOps engineers. So as per the solution architect, they started creating the infrastructure directly in the cloud. So creating these resources in the cloud is hardly 1 day, 2 day activities, guys. Hardly few hours of activity only. Okay, if you need some servers, it's a few minutes of activity only. If you need the load balancers, if you need everything to automate also, because in the cloud everything works via API, so that's the reason automation also becomes easy. Okay, so you don't need to wait a lot of time to deliver it or purchasing at anything. So you can directly go to the cloud platform. You can just create the resources and start using it. So that's the reason when you go for the cloud platform, the deployments are very faster. Okay, the deployments are very faster because when you're working in the cloud platform, the resources are readily available. It is like this, guys. So it is like this. For example, in a simple example, if I have to talk about it, okay, simple example is that assume that you wanted to go for shopping. You wanted to buy a shirt. Okay, you wanted to buy a shirt. So to buy a shirt, two options are there, guys. For you, either you can go and buy the cloth and give it for the stitching, and so that he will he will prepare the shirt, or he will stitch the shirt so that the shirt is available. So that this may take how much time? This may take like week or 10 days, maybe say 10 days. But sir, I don't have 10 days with me. I want the shirt right now. So what I'll do, I go to the shopping mall and I'll just buy a shirt in just like 10 minutes. See, this is a huge difference, right? 10 days to the 10 minutes. The same thing happening here also. When you wanted to deploy your applications in the traditional working model, you are taking like months also, weeks to months also. But if you wanted to create the resources in the cloud platform, it hardly takes few minutes, few hours only. So that's the reason the deployment model, or the deployment model that is there in the cloud, is faster deployment model comparatively. It is a faster deployment model comparatively. So that's the reason I am removing that slow deployment here. I have removed that because when you are working in the cloud, the deployment model is faster. And when you are working in the cloud, you can just create how much amount of resources you want. You don't need to buy extra, you don't need to buy less, and you don't need to maintain the data center, you don't need to buy the maintain the cooling supply, you don't need to do all of these things. So that's the reason eventually people say is that the cloud model, or a cloud working model, is less expensive, because you are not maintaining the data center, you are not maintaining this many people and this many teams. Okay, and we might have already know that in the cloud everything work via API, nothing but the application programming interfaces. So when something is working everything via APIs, the automation is very high. You can create everything, or you can automate everything almost. Okay, so that's the reason the automation is very high. And we do not have this many teams now. No team. So when lesser teams are there, chances of human error is very less, and which does not lead to the inconsistency in the environment. So that is also there. And the final thing that is a major disadvantage is wasted resources in the cloud. That's the reason they come up with the concept of scalability. They come up with a concept of scalability, where today you create some amount of resources. Tomorrow, as per your demand, if you wanted to scale up or scale down, you can do it according to your requirement. If you wanted to scale up or scale down, you can able to do it, guys. So this is what we call as a this option. This is also not there. So we will be using our resources almost 100%, or comparatively we are not wasting the resources in the cloud. Okay, so that many challenges are fixed by the cloud providers. So that's the reason most of the companies are started using the cloud, and there are three leading cloud providers are there, guys. One is AWS, one more is Azure, and the third one is Google Cloud Platform. Okay, our main focus in the course is to learn the Google Cloud Platform. In a simple words, I have shown you here, guys. In an on-premises or a traditional working model, in a traditional working model, an organization has to manage its own infrastructure to run their code on an application. That's what we have seen. If a one organization is there, if they wanted to create their application, the entire infrastructure they have to maintain. What is mean by infrastructure, sir? It can be a number of servers, hardware, software, networking, storage. They have to manage the entire things. So that's what we call as traditional working model. In a traditional working model, the organization is managing its own infrastructure to run their applications or code. But when you go to the cloud computing model, this infrastructure is provided by whom, sir? This infrastructure is provided by whom? Can you guys confirm? So the cloud providers provide you this infrastructure. When you go for the cloud computing model, the entire infrastructure is provided by the cloud providers. One of the leading cloud provider that we are talking about is Google Cloud Platform. So one, if you wanted to create an application, that entire infrastructure is provided by the cloud platform. So that is what it is, guys. Okay, so this is the main difference. Now you know, if I wanted to create an application, so there are two things. Either you can go for the traditional working model, or you can go for the cloud computing model. In a traditional working model, your company or you has to maintain this entire things. But when you go for the cloud, this entire things are managed by the cloud platform itself. Okay, so this is what is the difference between the traditional working model and cloud computing model. These are the challenges. We have seen the challenges that the traditional working model are facing, and people were struggling to work there, and later point of time the cloud came into the picture. Now we are in the cloud era. Now we are in the cloud era, where most of the activities are taken care by the most of the infrastructure activities, maintenance and management activities are taken care by the cloud platforms itself. Okay, hope that is clear. Okay, so this is what is the difference between the cloud as well as traditional working model, guys. Hope you got some idea. My agenda is that you guys are entering into the cloud, you should know at least how people were working earlier, so that you appreciate the cloud platforms, right? Our main agenda is that when we are doing something easily, when it is removing our effort, because when you're working in the traditional working model, the three main things that the problems are, like a lot of effort you are putting it to do the same activity. You are putting a lot of effort in the traditional, a lot of money you guys are spending, and lot of time you guys are wasting in the traditional working model. When you go for traditional working model, so these things are happening. These things are overcome or fixed are by the cloud platform. In the cloud platforms, you don't need to put an extra effort because the management activity is taken care. You don't need to spend a lot of money because it is comes with the cheap, and you don't need to spend a lot of time to purchase it, deliver it. That amount of taken is taken care by the cloud providers itself. So that's how the cloud providers came into the picture, and that is the reason most of the companies are started looking towards the cloud platform. Hope this is clear. Does anyone have any question on our very first topic, why we need the cloud platform and what is the difference between the cloud and traditional working model? If anyone have any question, please raise your hand, guys. Don't worry about it. We are going to see in our upcoming session also many things. Okay, we are going to see many things in our upcoming session as well. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's clear. So, okay, let us go to the Google Cloud Platform, everyone. So we have seen what is a Google Cloud Platform in our upcoming session. In our yesterday's session also, I have told you what is Google Cloud Platform. So let me gonna just tell you what is a Google Cloud Platform, guys. No, now you just know that Google Cloud Platform is one of the leading cloud provider. It is a cloud provider. So what the cloud provider provides us? Can you guys tell me what is the cloud provider provides us? Correct. So we have a leading cloud providers, guys. So we have leading cloud providers. One of that cloud provider is a Google Cloud Platform, guys. One of that cloud provider is a Google Cloud Platform. In short form, we can call it as a GCP. GCP is one of the leading cloud provider which provides you the cloud computing services. What they provide, sir? They provide you the cloud computing services. And these services are very useful for the organizations to do whatever the activity, whatever the project requirement. So to fulfill their project requirements, to fulfill their project requirement. If they wanted to create an application, or if they wanted to store the data, or if they wanted to visualize the data, create a machine learning model. So each project has their own project requirement, right? So to fulfill their project requirement, if they need any kind of resources, all the resources are provided by the cloud provider itself. One of such cloud provider is a Google Cloud Platform, everyone. One of such provider is a Google Cloud Platform. They provide you the cloud computing services. Okay, so these services are very useful for the organizations to fulfill their project requirement. When I say a project requirement, it can be creating an application or scaling an application, or it can be storing the data and visualizing the data or analyzing the data, or it can be storing the data and machine learning model creation, or whatever the things are storing the machine learning model. So such kind of an activities, if you want, already the services are available, and those services are provided by the Google Cloud Platform. You can see here, Google Cloud Platform is a suite of cloud computing services provided by the Google that offers range of products and solutions to help the organizations to build, deploy, and scale the applications and services in the cloud. These services are highly reliable, secure, and scalable infrastructure that enables the organizations to use the power of Google's extensive global network and data centers. Okay, so this is what. So Google has a plenty of data centers throughout the world, guys. So we can use the data centers to leverage our project requirement. To take care of our project requirement, we can use the resources from these data centers, and we can create our own applications to fulfill their project requirements. And those resources are highly reliable and secure and highly scalable also. Okay, so that is what it is. And if you ask me what are those resources, or if you ask me, these are the all the services or resources it is going to be providing you. So you can see compute resources, identity and security services, management tools, networking services, big data services, storage and database services, and machine learning services. Okay, so many categories. So I'll go to the Google Cloud Platform and let me gonna show you guys here. Okay, so I'm going to click on the Google Cloud Platform. So we are inside the console, guys. So we will be doing it like this: console.cloud.google.com. So if you go here, so console.cloud.google.com. So the moment you click on enter, you will be entered into the Google console. Because I have created the account, so that's the reason I'm here, guys. So I will also tell you how do you create a Google Cloud account, and it is going to providing you the 3 months of validity, and you will be provided with the $300 in credits. Okay, so that I will provide you guys maybe in our upcoming sessions. I will tell you how do you create that account. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you. Okay, and look at here. So if I wanted to see all the products and solutions, I'm here. I have a left navigation menu. I click on this products and solutions. I click on this all products. Okay, I click on this all products. So you can see here, guys, all the products are here, and we have a management tools. We have a compute resources. We have storage and storage services, analytics services, networking services, and distributed cloud, serverless databases, everything. So the moment you click on this one, for example, management, in the management you have this many services: compute, you have this many services. Storage, you have this many services. And analytics, you have this many services. So we have a plenty of the services that are available for each and every use case in the company for our project requirements. So we can use these services to fulfill our project requirements. Okay, so this is how the Google Cloud Platform is providing you the cloud computing services. Sir, I would like to interact with these services. Sir, I would like to interact with these services. How can we interact with these services, sir? How can we interact with these services? Okay, sir, I would like to work with these services every day, maybe for storing the data or maybe for doing my data engineering activities. Can you guys tell me what are the data engineering activities that we are going to do? Okay, so what is our agenda? Why we are using the Google Cloud Platform as a data engineer? Can you guys tell me what we wanted to do it as a data engineer? Tell me, guys. We correct. So we as a data engineer wanted to extract the data, ingest the data, process the data, analyze the data, store the data, visualize the data, or transform the data. Okay, transform the data. We wanted to visualize the data or data governance, data monitoring. So these many activities we wanted to do it, isn't it? So we as a data engineer, we wanted to do all of these data engineering activities. Yes or no? These are all data engineering activities only. We wanted to extract the data, data extracting, data ingestion, data processing, data analysis, data storage, data transformation, data visualization, data governance, data monitoring. So all of these activities we wanted to take care of it. So if you wanted to take care of all of these activities in the Google Cloud Platform, you have multiple interface methods are there. To do all of these activities, you need an interface, right? So you have the Google Cloud Platform. Sir, in Google Cloud Platform, you have a plenty of services. Maybe let me gonna show you here like this. Sir, I would like to do all of these activities, sir. And I would like to interact with the Google Cloud Platform. So this is your Google Cloud Platform. This is GCP, guys. Can you guys tell me in GCP we have plenty of services or not to do all of these activities? So this is GCP, sir. In Google Cloud Platform, you have a plenty of services. Let me name few services. Okay, so you have GCS, you have Cloud SQL, you have Data Proc, you have Data Flow, you have Composer, you have Airflow. Okay, sorry, Data Fusion. So many services are there. I have mentioned few services. Okay, so there are many services are there. I have just mentioned a few services. Okay, so sir, I would like to interact with the Google Cloud Platform. In Google Cloud Platform, I have a plenty of services to do all of these activities. Sir, can you tell me what are the interface methods are there? What are the interface methods to interact with these services? If you ask me, there are mainly three interface methods are there. There are mainly three interface methods are there. I'm going to tell you that only. Okay, to do all of these activities in the Google Cloud Platform, you need to have a interface methods. Let me gonna show you guys here. Okay, so I'll go here. So if you wanted to interact with the GCP services, if you wanted to interact with the GCP services, so these many services, if you wanted to interact with it, you have total four methods are there. One is console. The second one is Cloud Shell. The third one is Cloud SDK. The fourth one is Cloud. So the fourth one is third parties or APIs tools. We don't use it much, but this is a fourth method, APIs and third party tools. The very first one is console, Cloud Shell, Cloud SDK, and APIs and third party tools. A console is a web-based tool. It is a graphical interface. I'm going to talk about this one tomorrow just to give you an idea only. Okay, just to give you an idea, it is a user interface, graphical user interface. Cloud Shell is a command line interface. Cloud SDK also command line interface. And this is third party tools. It can be any tool, it can be multiple tools are there, third party tools, it can be anything. Okay, so if you wanted to interact with the Google Cloud Platform, we have Console, Cloud Shell, Cloud SDK. Console is a graphical user interface. Cloud Shell is a command line interface. Cloud SDK is also a command line interface. We will see about these things in detail tomorrow, guys. In detail, I would like to talk about it tomorrow, just to give you some idea that, so there are three interface methods are there. One is console, so you can use console, or you can use Cloud Shell, you can use Cloud SDK also. These are the three different methods to interact with the GCP services, everyone. These are the three different methods to interact with the GCP services. Either you can use console, Cloud Shell, or Cloud SDK to interact with these GCP services to do all of these activities. Okay, so I'm stopping the session here for today, guys. I have a small work outside. I'm gonna stop the session here for today. If anyone have any questions, you can ask me. We have like 8 minutes. I don't wanted to start this console, Cloud Shell, Cloud SDK. It will take like 30 minutes, and again we will go to the 9 a.m. So it will go up to 9. So let's not do that. Maybe we will cover that in tomorrow's session. Okay, yeah. Anyone have any questions? You please tell me. Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. I'll go, guys, one by one. Yes, Ganesh, you okay? You have raised your okay. Yes, Yugender, you have any question? Mm. Yes, yes. Correct, 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 correct. And that's what that's happens, right? Yeah, that's what I'll tell you like this. See, for example, if you go for a supermarket, you wanted to buy a chocolate. Right. So I go for a supermarket. If I wanted to buy a chocolate, I find a different variety brands of chocolates. Right. So the same thing goes here also. Right. So someone wants to do use the compute engine. So compute engine is a infrastructure oriented, so that you have to take care of all the infrastructure. But when you go for a Kubernetes, it is mainly for the containerized applications. Okay, it is streamlined. So that's how it actually works. Okay, so it has its own. I mean, every service has its own way of using. For example, if I go for a dairy milk chocolate, some people use the dairy milk. Some people want Kit Kat. Some people want that. So if I wanted to make happy of all the different category of the people or different projects, so I'm going to provide you 2 to 5 solution for each and everything, so that they can make use of any of these things according to their specific requirement of the project. Okay, yeah. So it has its own thing. So when you go for compute engine, you have to do all the things. But when you go for Kubernetes, it is a Kubernetes containers are already there. It's an orchestration engine. But I want the serverless of Kubernetes. That's where the Cloud Run is there. So it was streamlined. So similarly, you have a SQL database. Okay, so when you go for SQL database, it is providing you all the three: MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL. So every service has its own. When we are learning about one by one, so you will get to know more better. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. Correct. Correct. I'm going to talk about the certification. Yes. So I suggest you to go with the professional data engineer one. So this is only for the data engineers. Okay, sir. When you go for associate cloud, it's about the cloud. Okay, you are a cloud engineer kind of a thing, but it is not specific to the data engineer. But when you're going for a professional data engineer, that means you are getting certified as a data engineer in the Google Cloud. Okay, yeah, this is for you. Yeah. Uh, Two things. Yes, two things. One is almost all the concepts for the data engineering are covered here, so that you get a full knowledge on things. And one more thing is I have providing you the sorry I am providing you the dumps. Here you have a plenty of questions, and the moment you start using the questions, you are realizing that I'm able to understand each and everything. It's because you have attended these sessions. Okay, so the moment you are realizing that I'm able to understand the questions, you are able to answer it, few of them. And you will also get to know that how the question pattern is, what kind of a questions they are asking. That is one thing. And how do we tackle those things, how many questions we have to tackle it. So everything you are going to understand in this one. So the very first thing is that the knowledge. So to understand the knowledge, the course is going to help you, and to crack it, we have the dumps here. And some people already told us, sir, most of the questions are repetitive from the dumps itself. Okay, yeah, yes, yeah, thank you. And I see, yes, Suresh Chowdhury. You have any question? Suresh Chowdhury. Yes, Suresh. Yes, please. Okay. The certifications. So certifications is very simple, guys. So all the concepts for the certifications except the ML concepts are covered here. Okay. So almost all the concepts are covered here, so that you get the knowledge, you go to my dumps, and you get the exposure to the questions. Okay, you get the exposure, and you go for the cracking the things. And when you are in the exam, when you're writing the exam, you see some of the questions are repetitive from the dumps also. Okay, so that's also there. So this is how you have to tackle it. The only thing is that you can't directly go for the questions. If you go for the questions, you will not be able to understand it. So first understand all the concepts, and then go for the dumps, and get the exposure of how the question pattern is. And then when you go for an exam, that's where you see, you are able to witness it, that some of the questions are repetitive. And we have seen almost 15 to 20 questions are repetitive from the dumps itself. Okay, the direct questions. So that's how it is. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes, Babu, VV Babu. Good morning, Babu. Yes, please. There is no data engineering architect, there is a data engineer versus solution architect. Okay. So data engineer is the one who do the development. Okay. Data solution architect is the one who creates the solution. So according to the solution creation, the developers are going to work. So that means the data engineer are going to do the development. Okay. So the yes. So the solution architect will create the solution as per the new trending, what I culture. For example, so in nowadays, every day there is a new technology comes into the picture, new tool come into the picture. So he will come up with an optimized solution, and he asking you to use your development on top of this solution only. So that's how. So data engineer is for the development, solution architect is for creating a new solution for your entire application or entire data engineering project. Okay. Yes, correct. SQL basics are prerequisite for this course. Yes, correct. So it will take 10 more days, guys. So what you have to do, so because next to 10 days we will be covering the GCP basics, not 10 days, I think 7 days. Next to 7 days we will be covering the Google Cloud Basics, and then we will be entering into the GCS. And then after that, we will be covering the Cloud SQL, BigQuery, and all. That's where the SQL is required. So you have like 7 to 10 days for you guys. For whoever does not know the SQL, they can focus on this one. Okay. So it's a very good question. I would say, sir, you have 7 to 10 days for you to prepare your basics. Okay. And the SQL, and it's very easy. I will also share you one of the YouTube channel, so that if you wanted to get learn it. Okay, I will share you one of the YouTube channel. Yeah, sure. Yeah, No, then think about it. You just think about it. Developer is the one who works on the application development. Data engineer is the one who works on the data engineering activities. That's it. There isn't any difference. Okay. Developer say he works on the application deployment, Python, Java, and Node.js, all of those applications he will build. Okay. Data engineer, GCP data engineer, he works on the GCP data engineering activities. Okay. Yeah. Correct. We will be, our focus is to become a GCP data engineer. Yes. Yes. Now, Pradeep, you have any question? I'll that things we will be covering in our sessions. Okay. So sometimes when I was talking about one topic, I'll say that the people are asking the questions because I have written my PDE 2 times, guys. Okay. I have written PDE because PDE is only valid for 2 years. Okay. PDE or any external certification is valid only for 2 years. I have written 2 years before, and I think I have written like 4 to 5 months before again I have written. So I am a best one. I'm the best person to tell you guys that whatever the certification you're doing it, right, it's most of a scenario based things. So if you wanted to understand the scenario based questions, you understand the concepts first. The fundamentals you have to be perfect. So each and every service has its own fundamentals. So we look at the fundamentals first, what it can do, why it is. If you understand those things, tomorrow if you wanted to think as a architectural planning, so that's where these things are going to be very helpful for you. Okay, so that's the reason I'm telling you guys. So first thing, if you wanted to crack it in a first attempt itself, two things: understand all the concepts first, and look at the dumps. Don't directly go for the exam without the dumps. Dumps gives you the very good exposure, and it gives you what kind of a questions that we can focus on. Okay, what areas they are stretching it much. So those things you can, then you go for. Most of the people are able to crack it in one attempt. If you are not able to do it, you can again come back to me. I will help you guys. Before you guys are going for an exam also, you can come back to me. Okay, one attempt is more than enough. Yeah. Yes, you can create one more account. You create one more account. Okay. Yeah, you use yeah. Yeah, you use different email ID, but the same credit card you can use it, you can create it. Yes. Okay. Sir, I have 3 months of validity for the GCP, sir. After that, what we have to do, if you ask me, you create you create one more account. Next 6 months you can use it, right? The same thing. Okay, for the GCP. Okay, you create one more account. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Vishal. Vishal, you have any question, please? Okay, once the course complete, we'll be providing you the dumps. Don't worry about the dumps. The moment you registered for the course, this entire access I am going to provide it to you guys. You will be having the entire access. So once you have the entire access, if you wanted to go for dumps, if you wanted to go for resumes, everything is here. Okay, so all the things are provided. Yes. Okay, sir, I wanted to take course from website as I am unable to attend the regular batch 7:30 a.m. as I'm working in a rotational shift. I am taking course on the website that what all included in the statement import interview questions included in the PDF. Okay, not sure guys about the Vishal. I'm not sure about it. What you are talking about? Yeah. Okay,
Yes, right.
so
Hello.
yes, Vishal.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the course which are available on Microsoft website.
You connect with an admin. Okay, I'm not sure about that. Please.
Okay, okay, sure.
Yes, please. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Any other questions? Anyone, please? Narsimha 7:30 to 8:30 works most of the people. Okay, so but I'll be stopping at 8:30 for sure. But 7:30 to 8:30 is something that we have done, doing it from the last 1 year. But can you just like 30 more minutes? So because it's very hard for us to move thing because some people don't want it to wake up at early in the morning. So 7:30 to 8:30 is a very good time. I would suggest. Okay. Yeah, if any other things that we can do, you guys can let me know. So maybe if you're not able to manage it in few days, you can go for recording also. Yes, please. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So any other questions? Babu, you have any question again? Correct. You can download it. You can download it. So it will be like this, guys. So let me gonna show you how it will be provided to you. There, I'll providing you the access to you. The moment I provide the access, they will provide you the link, or I can also provide you the link. It will be with me only. So you go to some browser and you paste it here, and you should. It will ask for you to log in, or if it is already your login already opened here, it will directly open for you. For me, it will directly open for me because the same login I'm in, right? So it will use my Google account. So it will open right for you guys. Okay, so once it is open for you, you go to the interviews. Sir, I would like to download the dumps. So for example, this one, it will, you double click on it, you will be able to click on download. Okay, so this is how it will be for you guys. Interview also. Okay, interview introduction, the project explanation, project 2, and if you wanted to, sorry, the dumps, right? So you can go to the dumps and you can double click on it, it will download. So you, the moment you click on download, it will be downloaded. See, right? So that's how it works. You can also open it. Yes, guys. Okay, so you will be having everything at our downloadable only. You don't need to worry about it. Yeah. So you will be having this access until at least 1 to 2 years also. You don't have to worry about the access. Almost lifetime, you can say. Yeah. Okay. Yes, please. We are not covering the ML part. Yes. Of course. That I'll tell you. Okay. That I'll tell you. Yes. Yeah, we will be using that also. Yes. Okay. So I think this is it for today, guys. If anyone have any questions, you can ask me, guys. So okay, yeah, sure, sure, Hema, you can always connect with me. You connect with an admin, they will help me to connect with me. Okay, so you can connect with. So whoever is having any personal questions or regarding their resume or regarding their, the career, regarding their anything. If you have any question, if you wanted to talk with me personally, you connect with your own admin. So you can connect with your own admin. What they will do? You there here. My personal students are also here, right? Yeah. So you connect with my admin and they will call me. Okay, so connect with an admin, they will call me so that we can talk. So that is possible, guys. Any personal question, any career question, any resume related questions, any course related questions, if you wanted to further, you wanted to talk with me, sir, I would need some more guidance or I would need some more mentorship. So you can always call, you can always connect with an admin, they will call me so we can talk. Okay, so that's possible. You can do that, guys. Yeah. Okay. Okay, everyone, I think this is it for today, and I'm going to stop the session here for today, and we will see few more things in tomorrow's session. Okay, tomorrow is also we have a session, guys, that is our demo 3. Tomorrow is our demo 3, which is our final demo. Okay, yeah. Okay, guys, thank you all. Have a great day. Bye-bye. We will meet to tomorrow, guys. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.